Hello everyone, welcome to History and Culture. According to historical records, in October 1976, an archaeological team from Shanghai Qin terracotta warriors discovered 17 burial tombs while exploring near the tomb of Emperor Qin Shi Huang. The tombs, located only about 350 meters from the emperor's mausoleum, immediately piqued the interest of archaeologists. The experts hoped that these tombs could provide clues about the Qin Shi Huang tomb or uncover valuable artifacts. As a result, they decided to excavate and clear 8 of the tombs. However, they did not expect that this decision would lead to an unexpected discovery. When the 8 tombs were opened, the archaeologists were stunned by what they saw. The tombs did not contain ordinary burial items but rather 7 tombs with human remains. Inside, the remains of 5 men and 2 women were found. What was even more shocking was that these human bones were not carefully placed in coffins, but instead were haphazardly piled together, with some of the remains even cut into fragments. In some cases, the heads were separated from the torsos, and some of the skulls had broken arrows inserted into them. Based on the positions of the bones and the marks of injuries, the archaeologists speculated that these individuals had undergone a very unusual death process. The experts were left puzzled. Who were these people, and why did they meet such a tragic fate? Could it be that Qin Shi Huang had forced them to die as part of a burial ritual? As the excavation continued, the experts found some clues that led them to reconsider their initial assumptions. When they carefully examined the construction of the tombs and the burial items, they noticed some anomalies. The tombs were built to strict specifications, with each one containing a coffin and a casket, suggesting that these individuals were not ordinary slaves or nameless figures, but people of significant status and rank. Even more surprising, the tombs contained a large number of exquisite burial items, including gold, silver, bronze objects, ceramics, jade, shells, bone products, and lacquerware, totaling over 200 pieces. The quality and quantity of these items indicated that these individuals had considerable wealth and status. More crucially, some of the burial items bore the inscription Shaofu, a term used for a department in the Qing Dynasty responsible for managing the royal family's finances and affairs. Only the royal family's direct relatives were entitled to the exclusive burial items provided by the Shaofu. This discovery greatly surprised the experts, as it hinted that the owners of these tombs were likely the biological children of Qin Shi Huang. Thus, the archaeologists continued to study these tombs in hopes of finding more evidence to support their theory. Eventually, they discovered a crucial clue in one of the tombs. The tomb belonged to a woman, and the condition of her remains was shocking. Her head and limbs were separated from her torso, with her left foot detached from her body, and her arms spread wide. These signs indicated that her burial was highly unusual. Among her burial items, the experts found a seal engraved with the name Yangzi. They quickly recognized the name as the alias of Qin Shi Huang's daughter, Ying Yinman. Ying Yinman was one of Qin Shi Huang's most favored daughters, and her mother was likely one of the emperor's most beloved women. Ying Yinman resembled her mother greatly, which led to her special affection from her father, allowing her to live a luxurious life. According to some historical experts, although Ying Yinman is rarely mentioned in historical records, her identity was very special. She lived under her father's favor, enjoying a life of luxury far removed from that of ordinary people. However, everything changed drastically after the death of Qin Shi Huang. Not long after his death, Ying Yinman was cruelly treated by the second emperor, Hu Hai. She died in the spring of 209 BC, at the age of just 20. Historical records do not provide details about the cause or circumstances of her death, only briefly mentioning that she was killed by Hu Hai. However, based on the state of her remains, the archaeologists believe she likely endured a painful and tragic end, which is heartbreaking. The archaeologists further confirmed that the 17 burial tombs in Shangjiao village indeed belonged to the children of Qin Shi Huang. Most of the individuals buried in these tombs likely met tragic fates under Hu Hai's reign. So, why did Hu Hai take such drastic actions against his own siblings? To understand this question, we must first look at the death of Qin Shi Huang. In 210 BC, Qin Shi Huang completed the monumental task of unifying the 6 warring states and established a powerful centralized government. Dissatisfied with the capital in the Guanzhong plain, Qin Shi Huang decided to personally tour his empire, while also seeking the secret to immortality. That year, he embarked on his 5th Eastern tour, during which he visited famous mountains and rivers, erected stone inscriptions, and praised his own achievements. However, this Eastern tour would become Qin Shi Huang's last journey. When he reached the Sheiqiu Palace in Hebei, he suddenly fell seriously ill and passed away shortly thereafter. There are differing accounts regarding the cause of his death. Some claim that he died from poisoning after taking elixirs given to him by immortals, while others suggest that his trusted minister, Zhao Gao, secretly had a hand in his death. Regardless of the exact cause, Qin Shi Huang's death was undoubtedly a world-shaking event and became a turning point in history. After Qin Shi Huang's death, logically, his eldest son, Fusu, should have inherited the throne. However, at that time, Fusu was stationed at the frontier and was far from Xianyang. Meanwhile, his youngest son, Hu Hai, was accompanying his father on the Eastern tour. Hu Hai had not been considered a candidate for succession. But with the support of Zhao Gao, he forged a fake imperial edict and successfully ascended to the throne, becoming the 2nd emperor of the Qing dynasty. After taking the throne, Hu Hai sought to solidify his power by launching a brutal court struggle. He showed no regard for family bonds and ruthlessly oppressed his siblings. In fact, he even initiated a royal massacre. This act of cruelty left a deep scar on the empire and planted the seeds for the eventual downfall of the Qing dynasty. The first target of this massacre was Fusu. Fusu, the eldest son of Qin Shi Huang, should have inherited the throne. He had earned great merit on the northern frontier and was deeply loved by both the people and the military. However, Hu Hai and Zhao Gao conspired to frame Fusu. Zhao Gao forged an imperial edict from Qin Shi Huang, stating that Hu Hai should succeed the throne, and simultaneously accused Fusu and General Meng Tian of treason, forcing both men to commit suicide. Fusu, loyal to his father and unable to defy the edict, ultimately took his own life in tears. Meng Tian, however, resisted fiercely and still could not escape the fate of death. The deaths of Fusu and Meng Tian allowed Hu Hai and Zhao Gao to seize power. But it also caused the Qing dynasty to lose 2 loyal leaders. However, this massacre did not end there. Hu Hai then launched a brutal pursuit of his other siblings. Regardless of their relationship, he indiscriminately targeted all of Qin Shi Huang's children, and none could escape their tragic fate. Hu Hai even publicly executed 12 of Qin Shi Huang's sons in the streets of Xianyang, displaying their bodies to intimidate others. He also shot 6 of Qin Shi Huang's sons and 10 of his daughters with arrows in Duyo, then crushed their bodies with wheels. Hu Hai's methods were extremely cruel, and his goal was to completely eradicate Qin Shi Huang's bloodline to ensure he would be the sole heir. In this royal massacre, out of more than 40 of Qin Shi Huang's children, except for those who died young or of illness, more than 30 were killed by Hu Hai, leaving almost none spared. Among the dead was one of Qin Shi Huang's most favored daughters, Ying Yinman, who also could not escape. Hu Hai's treatment of Ying Yinman was particularly brutal. Not only did he order the execution of Ying Yinman's husband, but he also subjected her to inhumane treatment. Her head and limbs were severed, and her body was ultimately buried in a small tomb in Shangjiao village. Her burial items only included a seal engraved with the words Yang Zi, with no other grave goods. All of this seemed incredibly cold-hearted and merciless. But as the saying goes, man proposes, but heaven disposes. Hu Hai killed his siblings, thinking this would secure his throne. However, he did not foresee that these cruel actions would provoke widespread resistance from the people. At the same time, Zhao Gao, his accomplice, began to clash with other powerful officials, leading to internal strife. In 208 BC, Zhao Gao had a fierce argument with Li Si, and eventually, Zhao Gao struck first and had Li Si killed. But Zhao Gao was not satisfied. He desired more power and even began to eye the throne itself. Taking advantage of Hu Hai's ignorance, Zhao Gao manipulated him to eliminate loyal ministers and royal relatives. Furthermore, anyone who dared oppose him would be framed and brought down by Zhao Gao. Zhao Gao's tyranny incited strong resentment from both the common people and officials. And rebellions began to rise all over, opposing the Qin dynasty's oppressive rule. The most famous of these was the army led by Liu Bang, which eventually broke through the heavily fortified city of Wuguan and neared Xianyang. Zhao Gao realized the situation was dire and began plotting to remove Hu Hai, intending to install a new puppet ruler to continue controlling the court. However, Zhao Gao's plot was quickly uncovered, and Qin Wang Ziying, the grandson of Qin Shi Huang, sent men to execute him. Soon after, Liu Bang's army entered Xianyang, and Qin Wang Ziying surrendered, marking the fall of the Qin dynasty. According to relevant historians, Qin Shi Huang's dream was to establish an eternal empire. He completed the unification of the 6 states, built the Great Wall, implemented the burning of books and burying of scholars policy, and actively sought immortality. His ambitions were vast. But he neglected the suffering of the people, which led to the gradual decline of the Qin dynasty. Qin Shi Huang's son, Hu Hai, was incompetent, allowing powerful ministers like Zhao Gao to act with impunity, which accelerated the collapse of the Qin dynasty. This is the History and Culture channel. Liking and subscribing are the greatest help and support to us. Thank you everyone and see you in the next time.